Hello everyone, welcome back to Moonlight Productions. After spending some time in Delaware, we'll be focusing some time on Pennsylvania, the Keystone State, or the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania if you want to be specific, you special little snowflake. This Commonwealth is just breathing with history, as it was the original placeholder area of the federal government. Nowadays, the location would be known as the District of Columbia, and that federal land's government activities would be given by the state of Maryland. But enough about DC history. Pennsylvania residents were admitted into the Union on December 12, 1787, becoming our second state, or Commonwealth. It is 33rd in terms of land size, and the population of Pennsylvania has the fifth highest in the nation, with 12.8 million residents, or 3.83% of the U.S. population. The state capital of Harrisburg has a population of 49,365. That is the 39th smallest capital in the country. Pennsylvania just lost a congressional district in the recent 2020 census, but many great things are present in Pennsylvania. So is there something to keep driving people into the state? So why don't you sit back as I take a deep dive into Pennsylvania and show you the good and the bad of Pennsylvania. The fifth worst thing about Pennsylvania is the weather. I am usually lenient when it comes to bashing on something like the weather because it's something we can't control. However, it is needed to be acknowledged that in some form Pennsylvania has some pretty disrespectful climates. Some places throughout the state can reach some very high levels of cold throughout the state, and will have snowfall that can get up to 45 inches a year. So don't feel scared when you end up having to plow some snow during the winter, because it's gonna happen. Thankfully, Pennsylvania isn't as bad as places like New York, Vermont, Minnesota, North Dakota, or Alaska. The fifth best thing about Pennsylvania is the history. I already brought up the history regarding the original home of the federal government. The state of Pennsylvania is also where the Declaration of Independence was signed, marking the United States independence from Great Britain. Even more minor things regarding history originated in Pennsylvania, like the computer, automotive services, the police, newspapers, radio broadcasts, and the Philadelphia cheesesteak. History is something that's in the blood of Pennsylvania residents. The fourth worst thing about Pennsylvania is guns and gun laws. Depending on your tastes, Pennsylvania won't be a stickler when it comes to you having a firearm. They are close to the middle of the road regarding strict gun laws, but it is also quite a thing as more Philadelphia and Pittsburgh residents tend to want to have more gun laws on the books, as the rural residents want fewer gun laws. So no matter where you're going to move to in the Keystone State, you're going to have to hear this argument from different locations throughout the Commonwealth. The fourth best thing about Pennsylvania is the cost of living. Pennsylvania is very desirable if you're looking to save a buck, especially if you're willing to drive an hour or two if you're going to be working in the New York City area or even the rest of the East Coast. You won't be forking over the kind of taxes and housing costs that one has to deal with if you're going to want to live in New York City. The housing market is 70% lower in Pennsylvania than in New York City alone, as well as the cost of renting being 50% lower, though New York is just painfully expensive on everything from groceries to utilities to taxes. The third worst thing about Pennsylvania, it's a swing state. Pennsylvania is one of those handful of states in the US when it gets to you needing to deal with many political advertisements. The state's been bouncing around with different presidential candidates for a while. Philadelphia and even Pittsburgh are Democratic areas, while the more rural areas outside of the cities are more conservative. The state had voted with Trump in 2016 as part of the 2016 presidential upset. Meanwhile, in 2020, Biden won the state by a hair. Different political parties have various different controls over the state government, and they're at odds with each other. So you won't be able to escape sessions of the political season in Pennsylvania, whether you want to or not. As I'm recording this, Dr. Oz from the Dr. Oz television show, he started to jump into Pennsylvania politics as a senator. The third best thing about Pennsylvania is the great outdoors. Pennsylvania is one of the best locations in the nation for outdoor activities. The state has the highest per capita number of licensed hunters and fishermen in the country. And even if there's something in the state that you're not interested, to add to it, you are surrounded by other states like the Virginias, New York, Maryland, and even the New England states. Case in point, if you like the outdoors and outdoor activities, Pennsylvania is a perfect place for you. The second worst thing about Pennsylvania is traffic and toll roads. Traffic in both Pittsburgh and Pennsylvania is pure awful. A chunk of that has to do with the toll roads in the state, and the traffic congestion in both cities is being ranked in the top 10 worst cities for traffic congestion. Toll roads are also frequent throughout the cities and around the suburbs. Although thankfully, the smaller towns throughout the state are not very awful. However, the infrastructure is not as quality paved, so it's gotta pick your poison on something like this. The second best thing about Pennsylvania, it's tax-friendly. This one does come with an asterisk, as Pennsylvania does have a very high gas tax that's going to hose you at the pump. However, after that, the rest of the state's either low or very decent costs on taxes. The state is one of the few states with a flat income tax at only 3.07%, The sales tax is 6.34%, which is lower than the national average. Property tax is a little higher, 1.58%, which is higher than the national average. However, it is still better than most of me and other Illinois residents have to pay on our property tax. There is no Social Security tax in Pennsylvania, and it also increases the appeal of senior citizens. So, if you're looking for a state that won't tax you to the bone, choose Pennsylvania. And the number worst thing about Pennsylvania is the city of Philadelphia. No doubt another eyesore in what we see as a country. Similar to Wilmington, Delaware, Pennsylvania is another city that doesn't seem to understand the concept of safety. The city of brotherly love isn't as bad as Wilmington, but it is still unsafe most of the year. It's a real shame as well. I brought up some of the history in the city, including the greatness that it has given the nation in its founding years. It's just got some issues that the city needs to be able to take care of. Although the city does have excellent jobs and is attracting a younger workforce, they just have some crime issues and horrific traffic that needs to be taken care of. And the number one best thing about Pennsylvania is diverse lifestyles. It doesn't matter what it is that makes you different, your lifestyle can make it in Pennsylvania. You can be a big city life suburbs person, a person who goes around to expensive areas like New York City or New Jersey, and then come back home to Pennsylvania with comfort because of the affordability. That lifestyle choice can be made. A person who relates to the large Amish community in the state, if you're a small town person retiring or looking for a change in scenery. There is something for everyone in Pennsylvania, which is driving people to the state, so get in while the state is still affordable. So that's it. Those are the things about Pennsylvania that you should consider if you want to move there. Thank you for watching. Please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. If you were to be so kind as to follow me on Twitter, that would be very helpful. Thank you for your time, and take care of yourself. Bye-bye.